Welcome to Horrors Yet Unseen, the horror movie podcast where we make each other watch films the other guy hasn't seen, and then review them.
Each episode will have spoiler-free reviews, followed by no-holds-barred spoiler-full breakdowns. So sit back, relax, and let's talk about some scary movies. Hey, Zach.
What's going on, Steve?
Technical problems.
Yes, we
don't pretend like we haven't been talking for an hour trying to figure this out.
Yes, we have been having some technical problems. They have been on my end, and I'm sorry, but not sorry about them because I have no control over it.
Yeah. Who should we blame?
Probably Riverside, or whoever owns that, whatever billionaire oligarch owns that.
I think Spotlight bought Oversight, and then Riverside, and then I'm going to blame Elon Musk.
I think we could blame whoever we want at the end of the day. I mean, PlayStation's down today. The world's going to hell in a handbasket, bro.
Right,
I don't know what's happening.
I'm going to blame Elon Musk again. I'm going to stick to my guns.
Do it.
If I had guns, because I'm a dirty hippie liberal and I don't have any guns. I shouldn't have said I don't have any guns, because now people are going to come over and take my stuff.
Who are these people?
The people with guns. You know what people with guns, they just take over things, just destroy the world. So
I feel like this is a weird way to start this particular episode.
Weird way. It is. Maybe back up a little bit.
Very, very Second Amendment for no reason.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey, Zach.
Hey, Steve. We can't restart this. We just gotta keep going.
Pushing forward.
Just keep going. Yeah.
So we had some things to talk about today before we get into our assigned movie reviews, which are going to be fantastic. I can't wait to hear about The Invitation.
I know.
Yeah. So would you like to bring us into the topics of du jour? Yes,
the topics of du jour. So, Steve, as I mentioned to you a half an hour ago, there were...
We just started this. What I'm talking about.
There was a lot... yeah. There was a lot of news that happened this week, and I tried to keep up with it as much as I possibly could. The first thing on the list is that Scream 8 is in the works.
Zach, they don't even have the first one out yet, buddy.
They had the first one out like 30 years ago. Or 20 years ago.
They don't have 7 out yet.
7, that's what's curious to me. Is like 7's not out yet.
Did 7, 8, 9?
I feel like that's the punchline to that particular joke.
Oh, right.
Why was 6 afraid of 7?
Why was
7, 8, 9?
Why was 8 made before 7?
Why was
7, 8, 9?
Oh gosh. Okay. Man. These are just bad dad jokes here. Yeah. So yeah, Scream 8 is in like early production, early pre-production, early script writing, early whatever. But it was
the concept of a plan.
Basically. So that means that Neve Campbell's not going to die. That's what that means.
Is she in it?
Neve Campbell's in 7.
I know, but is she in 8?
I don't know, man.
Then what if she dies?
She could die. You're right.
Yeah, they'll be like, had enough of this Neve Campbell woman moving on.
Wow. Unbelievable.
They try to pass the torch to a new generation. She's going to die eventually in real life, too.
They tried to do that, but then that younger generation spoke out against war, and the friggin' studio is a bunch of white guys. I don't know. That fell apart. Anyway, yeah, so I read a fan theory for Scream 7, and I wanted to share it with you.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because this was freaking crazy. So so everybody's trying to take stabs at how they could bring back all of these characters that are supposedly dead.
Yep.
And one of the theories is that that Scream 7 is going to be might be a Wes Craven New Nightmare type scenario.
In what way?
In in New Nightmare,
Right.
Freddy Krueger was a real person who started killing all of the actors in Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Right. Right. It's
So
kind
it's
of a meta,
like
kind of a meta.
it's very Inception, dream within a dream movie meta
Mhm.
thing, right? So here is the fan theory. User Offie the Troll or Oofy the Troll 2059. Okay. I want to give credit where credit is due. This is what they said. Scream 7 is Sydney being targeted by all 13 Ghostface, and she tries to figure out how they all lived until the end of the movie, where she gets cornered, and then she wakes up in bed next to Mark Kincaid, not Mark Evans.
Oh,
And the
interesting.
entire movie was a dream the whole time.
Hmm.
She turns over, then rolls over to Patrick Dempsey's character, Mark Kincaid, and he turns into Freddy Krueger. Then we then realize that the whole movie was Freddy targeting Sydney. One final tribute to both franchises that Wes Craven built. So this it's it, now
You had me until you said Freddy Krueger.
I know, because it would be wild. I slightly want that movie to be made because of how crazy it would be, like to wake up. And I mean, just imagine Scream 7 starts off the way that every Scream movie starts off with.
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's in the kitchen, somebody's in the house, whatever. Phone rings.
Right.
Let's talk. Blah blah blah. Scary movie, and then the person gets killed. Opening title crawl. Basically, you go through an entire Scream movie
Right.
for 3/4 of this movie, and then the director slaps you in the face with the fact that Sydney then wakes up in bed, because everybody's wondering about why Patrick Dempsey's not in this movie or hasn't been announced to be in this movie, why Joel McHale's replacing him as Sydney's wife. So this takes care of that. It also takes care of how all of these other dead Ghostface are coming back and being announced as cast members.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
what? But then, what would be crazy? You would lose a lot of people. I mean, people would be probably really upset if Sydney wakes up and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?
Mhm.
It was just a dream. Thank God." She rolls over. Patrick Dempsey's like,
It's a
"Hey,
different
beautiful,
mark
what's
there.
what's going on?" And she's like, "Oh, nothing. I just had a bad dream." And then all of a sudden, Patrick just morphs into Freddy Krueger, who's laying in bed next to her, and is like, "Dream, you say? Ha ha ha!" And boom, that's the end of. It would be on par with like what Jason Goes to Hell,
Hmm.
where Jason's mask is there and Freddy
So,
Krueger's hand
so,
pops up and grabs the
oh,
mask, and then
right.
you hear Freddy's laugh, and like you're like, what the heck is going on? But it would be so crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
So, historically, audiences don't tend to respond well to ends of franchises that are, it's all a dream. It tends to really piss people off.
really upset people. So that's why I'm saying like it would be. So that's why I said the director would slap you in the face with the fact that the entire movie that you basically just watched is a dream. Then the movie ends with a Freddy Krueger appearance. That would be wild. I mean, you might get like true Wes Craven fans who are like, that's pretty cool. But it would be like three people versus the millions of other people who would want to go see this movie. And then once the cat's out of the bag, then nobody's going to go to the theater.
Right.
So, you
Yeah.
know, it's an
I
opening. You'd make all of the money for the movie on opening night only. After opening
I
night, once it got to the
yeah.
internet, it's over.
I hope they don't do that because like the only time that I feel like that was well done is the Bob Newhart thing. You're familiar with that?
The Bob
So do you
Newhart
know who
thing.
Bob Newhart is?
I do.
Okay. Bob Newhart, comedian from the 70s through he just passed away like a couple years ago, I think.
Hmm.
Um, he he had a TV show from 70 something to let me look at 70
The
72 to
Bob
78
Newhart
called
show.
The Bob Newhart Show.
Yeah.
And then he had another TV show from 82 to 88 called just Newhart.
Right.
And different people in the movie, the show shows all of that stuff. At the very end of Newhart, the second show, he wakes up like the very last scene, like the lights click on and he wakes up next to his wife from the Bob Newhart show, now much aged as much as he has been. He's like,
Yeah.
says says her name, whatever her name was in the movie in the TV show. Hey, wife from the first TV show, I had a weirdest dream,
Yeah.
and that was really good because it was like his dream. He was the same guy from the first show, but he dreamed about a second show,
That,
and
see that.
that was 2 years after Saint Elsewhere pissed everybody off by saying the entire Saint Elsewhere show was just a dream inside of a kid's head. And that made
Yeah.
some people so mad, so they kind of riffing on that. But
It's not going to. It's not. I'm not saying that it's going to go over well. I'm saying that it will be a wild theory to see come true for first this the whole thing to be a dream, and second for Freddy Krueger to show up. Like that would be wild.
so anything can happen, but how likely is that? Do you think that'll happen?
I think that there's a 0% chance that this is
Okay.
even. I mean, I can't imagine that you would have if I'm Nev Campbell
Yep.
and you, the studio, come to me or the director come to me and they go, "Hey, we got this great idea." I'd be like, well, "First, timeout studio. I'll be the judge of that. Give me the script."
Okay.
And then if I get to the end, the last page, and it says, "And then Patrick Dempsey turns into Freddy Krueger," I would fold that up. I would drive to the studio and I would kick you in the pee-pee. And then I'd walk out.
Okay.
And then I just walk out. No way am I signing on for that movie. Um, I think it would be this massive tribute to Wes Craven,
Hmm.
but I think if Wes was actually still alive, he'd be like, "No, don't do
Oh,
that."
he died.
Wes Craven died, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. So anyway, that's one of the theories that's out
All
there
right.
for this thing, and it was the most outlandish, and I thought we should talk about it because it's just funny to me. I would laugh hysterically in the theater, but also be slightly upset that I paid money to go see that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, in the realm of popcorn buckets,
Yeah.
moving on to the next subject, AMC is continuing to make me upset because they're clearly getting the best popcorn buckets, and I don't understand this. I was just at the movie theater. I went to see Hard Eyes,
Yep.
and Cinemark has a the monkey popcorn bucket, but
It's already out.
it's a tin,
Mm. Okay.
and it just says the monkey on it. Like that's so it is this metal tin that it just says the monkey on it. But AMC's popcorn bucket is an actual monkey on the drums. It's the freaking monkey. And
And you're disappointed because you don't have a AMC close enough to you to go to.
I'm disappointed because I am of the mindset that if we're really going to be about the people,
Okay.
okay, if we're really going to be about the people and the fans and the movie goers, that all popcorn buckets should be equal. Everyone should have the exact same opportunity to get the exact same popcorn bucket across the board, no matter where they live. Okay. One might say that this is the dream that I have.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, no disrespect by that.
Sure.
Okay. It's
Yeah. No.
more in jest. But, you
Everybody
know,
needs a dream.
everybody, it's the coolest popcorn bucket. No one's freaking buying the
Yeah.
tin.
No. No.
But if you got to fill up the monkey's drum with popcorn and then go see the monkey, yeah,
Right.
you want that. You want that. So every theater, knock it off with this. Well, this theater gets that, and then this theater gets. Shut up. It's annoying. It's annoying to me. Also, it's because I don't have an AMC next to me. That's probably I'm just jealous. Anyway,
We have an
that's
AMC in town, but nobody goes there. It's like
did
the
you
uncool place.
um it's a rundown AMC. Well, that serves them right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
they
getting
just
run
raised the
down.
prices. They just raised the prices of their subscription service. It's like
Ah.
$16 now a month. Screw you, AMC. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
Oh, really? Not use Shutter?
Uninvited, huh?
Shutter, you mean?
No, AMC, the theater, just
Oh,
raised the price
oh, they have a subscription service. Okay, yeah. Oh, sorry.
of their rewards
There are
program or
TV
whatever it
shows
is, and
on, I mean, AMC as well. And AMC Plus is always often referred to by Google as Shutter or the other way around. So don't act like I'm a crazy person,
I'm not acting like you're a crazy person.
dude.
I'm just simply saying that
I'm
this
right here. I'm
particular.
right here.
I'm so sorry. You're right. You're right. I'm
I'll be good.
I'm
I'll be
crazy.
good.
You're
I'll be
not
good. No,
crazy.
you
So,
exactly.
have you seen this popcorn bucket?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. I mean,
And
not
your thoughts
not in
are?
purpose, not in person, but it looks like a drum, with a monkey, with some sticks and a really cheesy face, scary face. So yeah,
Would you want to get this popcorn bucket?
absolutely. I figured as much as we talk about popcorn buckets, I should eventually get a popcorn bucket.
Yes. Yes, I understand.
But I like this one a lot. I mean, it's perfect because it doesn't look like a popcorn bucket.
No, it looks like just a monkey
It
that's
looks
going
like
to
the
haunt
thing
your
in the movie.
house.
Yeah,
It looks like the thing that's going to haunt your family
right,
forever.
right.
Yeah.
Which what child wouldn't like that as a Christmas present, right?
I mean, if I opened that for Christmas, I would scream.
Right.
I'm not saying for joy or for terror. I would just scream
Sure. Yeah.
in general. Just general normal child screaming.
Child screaming.
Right.
We all do it.
Right. I think that it might be the coolest popcorn bucket that
Yeah, I
we've
like it.
had so far. So next on the list,
Yeah.
Ari Aster is back at it again.
My boy.
Well, let's calm down with the fanboy. Okay? Put your pants back on. Calm
Whoa, whoa,
down.
whoa, whoa.
Um the upcoming fourth movie from director Ari Aster is titled Eddington.
Yep.
And it will be
Is that about a
about
bear?
family. It'll be about, it's definitely about, it's about a traumatic bear who,
Wears a
uh,
raincoat, which is not a euphemism.
I don't even know what that means.
Go ahead.
I don't know what that means. Um, uh, it's about my guess is that's about family trauma because that's what all of his movies about.
No.
All of his
Family
movies,
drama.
all of his movies are about family trauma and the weird ways that family trauma can manifest. That's really it.
See, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page for it.
Mhm.
And it said it's an upcoming American contemporary Western comedy film. I'm like, okay. Filmed and written by Ari Aster. Okay, that's not a comedy. Immediately, you know. There's no way it's a
It's
comedy.
never a comedy.
No way it's a comedy. Not a chance.
I would like a comedy. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that he would lure me in with comedy and then somebody would get their head cut off and I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, here we go. Here we go."
Yeah, and I still struggle with how the industry defines what a comedy is, because how many of these movies we've seen that have like disturbed the crap out of us and we're like, oh, it's a comedy. You know, when you look online, it doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
This says that it is a contemporary Western.
Right. The contemporary Western comedy.
So it's a friggin' John Wayne movie? Like,
No,
What is
it's.
this?
I think it's a remake of Blazing Saddles without the N word so much.
That that would be hilarious. That would be hilarious, dude. Yeah, I'm in. Um, so this says that Variety details the film is now in post-production. They've already shot it and is believed to revolve around a couple stranded in a small New Mexico town. Though they are initially welcome, the town takes a sinister turn by nightfall. Joaquin Phoenix, Bo,
Mm,
he doesn't play Bo. That'd be hilarious if he did.
right, right.
Joaquin Phoenix portrays the town's sheriff with uh, ambitious dreams.
Mm,
So I don't. So yeah, Joaquin's gonna do. He's gonna be Joaquin, right?
right.
He's gonna Joker it all up.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be crazy. So
Jokered up.
anyway,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
um,
it, but even though I don't know what it is because I he's one of my favorite directors, but uh, it's not a comedy.
there's
I
no way that it's gonna be a comedy. I
no
think
no
we're. I
chance.
think sometimes we're playing loose and fast with the term horror.
Well, yeah, but people shouldn't be calling Bo's Afraid a horror movie. That is not a horror movie in any way, shape, or form.
No, the
No,
only horrific thing was the gigantic phallus at the end of the movie. That
that
was
was
horrific.
horrific. Yes.
Yes. Any hoodles.
Yeah.
Uh, our boy Peach Fuzz.
Yeah. Peach Fuzz.
He's
How's
he's
it going, Peach Fuzz?
he's coming back for season 2 of the Creep Tapes. I'm very excited about this. I did not like the way that season 1 ended. It was weird.
Yeah.
I didn't expect mom to get involved,
Okay.
but I didn't entirely like it. But I also thought that every episode was basically the exact same,
Mm-hmm.
and it didn't need to be like 6 episodes. Like, or if it was
Yeah.
going to be 6 episodes, we needed a little bit more variety in uh
Yeah. And to me, that's
the
that,
killing and all that.
we've discussed this a little bit, but that's the problem with the Creep Tapes being just like a episodes of a TV show in length. Because to me, so much that whole the creepiness of everything around that show comes from the long drawn out like tension, like what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen, what's gonna happen. But
Right.
it's just handled too quickly in the TV show version. So
It feels like they're capitalizing on the fact that they've already established him as creepy, so
mhm.
we don't need to build that tension. You already know what's going
Right,
to happen, which is the lightning. You're right. The lightning in the bottle is the tension building that the movies do, and then the weird satisfaction at the end of how everything kind of goes down.
right, right.
So yeah, I think that they could do. I'm not necessarily going to say hour long episodes would be maybe fine, but
Yeah,
the 20-minute episodes or the 30-minute episodes
yeah.
were
Too
not.
fast.
It was too quick. Yeah.
Yep.
Um. Um. Steve, are you aware of the video game Exit 8?
No.
Okay. I am just slightly aware of this.
Okay.
Exit 8 is a video game wherein you walk down, what it appears like you walk down. I'm probably going to be butchering this and somebody's going to be screaming at me. You're walking down, first person, you're walking down a hallway and you have to notice little anomalies along the way
Okay.
um, in order to not die or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know. Again, I don't know anything. All I know is that I've seen some TikToks about this where people are playing this video game. I've seen some Twitch streams where people are playing this video game. You're basically caught in this massive loop wherein you continue walking down different hallways, and if you don't notice any anomalies, then you just keep on walking, and you have to exit
Okay.
on the eighth floor or the whatever. Anyway, I'm butchering this completely. I'm yelling at myself for how terrible of a job I'm doing at this. That's
There's
getting a movie adaptation. So there's
oh
a movie coming out, um, and a trailer just dropped, and it looks pretty good. I
really
don't necessarily know if it will be horror related, but I think the video game is, pretty jump scary. So, you know, anyway, I thought we would at least mention
yeah.
that it's getting, because I think Until Dawn is getting a movie adaptation that's a
Oh really?
horror video game. Yeah.
Not
Um,
isn't there a movie called Until Dawn?
there is a video game called Until Dawn, and
There's a
there
movie
the
too.
video game is getting a movie adaptation.
I know you said, but I thought there was already a movie called that. So
There may be already a movie called Until Dawn. It stars Kevin Costner and he dances with wolves. No? Is there
no.
already a movie called Until Dawn?
Yeah, it's based off of a video game.
You are a special kind of
It's
guy.
not released yet though.
I know this. Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what Steve is doing to me? He does this kind of crap all the time. And it's the reason
You know,
why I am currently
gotta keep you on
recording
your
this
toes.
from my padded cell in the psychiatric ward of an undisclosed
So
hospital.
sorry for your loss.
Unbelievable. You know, uh, I don't even know, Steve. Let's just move on to another subject. How about that?
Okay.
All right, buddy. So, as I was so kindly reminded, we've technically already done this next segment once already at the end of
But we have
season
more
one.
information now.
That's true. Yes, I forgot about it initially, and I thought, hey, a lot of movie trailers have come out. A lot of movie news has come out since the
Indeed.
beginning of the year.
Indeed.
Let's make a top 10 list of the top 10 movies, horror and non-horror,
Hmm.
that we are excited to see. And let's rank them in order from 10 being the quote unquote least excited, but you're still excited, all the way to number one, the most excited. And let's talk about each other's movie selections. So,
Okay.
let's just recycle this particular bit and do it again. Yeah. So, Steve, what would be your top 10 horror slash non-horror most anticipated movies?
By that, do you mean any movie that period is ever going to come out in 2025 that we know of?
Any movie that's coming out in
Not not
2025.
not not just horror, even though this is a horror
Not just
podcast.
horror. These are just movies in general. Like, for example, my number 10
Yes.
is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Oh, okay. That's not a horror
But
movie.
it's no. I know that. You're killing me. You're absolutely killing me. But my number 9
Mhm.
is M3gan 2.0.
Okay.
So what would be your top 10 ranked lists from 10 to number 1?
Well, I heard that they're making a movie out of a game called Until Dawn.
I want, I genuinely want to hit the red button and get the heck out of here. You're killing me. Yes, they are. I have also heard this news very recently, actually.
So I missed the part where you said when you initially wrote this in the notes that it was supposed to be horror or non-horror. So I only have the horror stuff, and I
That's
only
fine.
have five. What I did, I went and re-edited the initial five that I have, but I might have a couple to add to it. So,
This is
um,
what happens when you don't do your homework, Steve. I
so
want that to be, I want
out
the
of all three,
listeners to be under.
out of all 300 movies that are possibly coming out that we know of, the least interesting one to me, period, is Five Nights at Freddy's.
The least? Okay.
I mean, I would watch Downton Abbey 3.
Wow. That is wow.
They're doing the Naked Gun reboot? What? Don't call me Shirley.
Yes, of course.
You
Why would
speak
they not?
jive?
Why would they not do a
You think they'll do
Naked
the
Gun
speaking
reboot?
jive part? They probably should take that
I've
one out.
seen the Naked Gun movie, so yes, where the stewardess knows how to speak jive.
It's just one of the ladies. It's the Beeves' mom. Beaver, Leave It to Beaver. Ba-dum, da-da-da-da-dum.
How old are you?
Old. Let's see. I'm not interested in any of the Lilo and Stitch or sorry, any of the Disney live action ones because Lilo and Stitch is a classic, should not be touched by live action. None of them. They're all just cash grabs. They're lame. There's no art to them.
Wow.
Yeah,
Take a hard stance.
yeah. Tell me ask me how I really feel.
How do you really feel, Steve?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Well,
Um,
one of the biggest bummers of my entire life. That was the letdown. I should have
so
saw it coming
I
though.
will say okay. So the five that I'm most interested in coming up this year are uh 28 years later.
Okay.
Because even though I wasn't a big fan of the 28 days later, 28 months later was pretty darn good.
Okay.
Then Woman in the Yard looks really nice and creepy.
Yes, it does.
Plus, I'm always happy to see uh, movies, a good horror movie that by black director slash writer slash cast, because it's just always I don't know there's something different about the way that a lot of the fears are approached. So I think
Mm-hmm.
about this just talking to Jordan Peele about how white people in America have not that everything's about race, but white people in America have like certain sets of fears, but black people have a completely different set of fears. Sometimes some obviously some of the same, like dying. Okay, that's a human thing, period. But there's the difference enough culture between we've learned a lot about how black people perceive the world from a white guy's perspective, anyway, in the past few years since COVID and all the Black Lives Matter stuff. But anyway, that being said, the Woman in the Yard looks really creepy and fantastic.
Did you just say that you were talking to Jordan Peele about
No,
this?
no, I saw a thing about Jordan. Did I say I was talking
Okay.
to him?
I was like, bro, did you just say I
Yeah,
was
Jordan
just
and I were
talking to
on the phone
Jordan
the
Peele
other
about it? Like, what?
day.
How was I not invited to that conversation?
No, it was a good interview I saw with him on YouTube or something. Anyway, then Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein,
Mm-hmm.
the monkey, and the one I'm most interested in this year is The Death of a Unicorn. I really want to see that.
Right.
M3 is probably in there like around 7 or 8 or so. See, nothing, and I haven't seen enough of the other um trailers and so forth. I'm trying to be less trailer heavy, trying to do like maybe a spoiler. Maybe a teaser,
I know.
and then just kind of sit back and not watch stuff because Companion really like uh,
It's
Companion
amazing
and
how much
Abigail.
just one ruined it.
Right.
But what's
Well, it didn't
what's
ruin it for me, but it would have been really super cool because Christy and I went with some other friends, um, and Nick was one of them, by the way. Good old Nick. He did.
good old Nick?
I should have asked him whether or not this is a horror movie or not. Companion probably would have had an opinion.
He probably would have.
Anyway, I took Christy to see Companion, and she didn't know anything. I'm like, do not watch anything, and she was shocked by the revelation at the first one.
Yeah.
And this,
Which
well,
is what you
second,
should be. That's
right.
why it was
That's
it
the whole point,
ruined everything.
right? It didn't ruin anything. Just made it less interesting.
It ruined everything.
Don't dog on one of my favorite films of the year so far, man.
No. I'm
Fantastic.
not. I'm dogging on the studio who
Oh,
decided to market the freaking trailers that
marketers
way.
are the worst, dude.
The worst.
What's up with the marketing teams?
Dude. Here's the other thing. I said the exact same thing maybe a couple episodes ago, maybe
Yep.
last episode. I don't know what time it is. Anyway, that I was going to swear off trailers.
Right.
The problem is that I literally just got out of a movie theater.
Yes.
And they spend the first 20 minutes of every movie shoving trailers
They do,
down your
they do.
throat. And there's no way to avoid it unless I stand in the hallway until the movie starts or until I see the lights go down.
Yep.
And then I go to my seat. Like a freaking weirdo.
Just bring some earplugs and read a book on your phone until
I guess. There's no way to really avoid it, but especially if you go to movies all the time. Like there's no
Right.
real way to really avoid it. And so I've fully given myself over to the fact that there are things that are going to be spoiled for me, and I'm just going to have to live with that.
So
And
you've decided to grow up and be an adult about things.
I'm yes,
I'm so sorry.
this is what adulting is, Steve, is that you
That's the
just have to grow up and
worst.
deal with how nothing is in your control.
So
Nothing is
sorry.
in your control. Well, I mean, that's a pretty good top five.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
pretty good top five. Here's my top 10.
Okay.
Okay. In ranked order, least excited, but I'm still slightly excited to see it, all the way to number one, most excited.
Okay.
Number 10, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. I'm mainly excited to see this movie um, because Mission Impossible movies, hold a special place in my heart. Um, I am slightly annoyed that I will have that too much time passes in between each launch, each movie, and I forget every character.
Isn't this
I,
the ninth movie?
it's something like that. Yeah.
Dude.
This was actually supposed to be part one,
Okay.
or this was supposed to be part two. Um, Dead Reckoning Part One came out like last year, or the year before,
Oh, and the final reckoning is
and then they renamed Dead Reckoning Part One to just Dead Reckoning,
mm,
and this apparently, for whatever reason, is now going to be the final movie. And I don't know. I mean,
good.
Tom's getting older.
Yeah. The first one was 1996.
I know.
Dude, were you even alive then?
I, wa- I, I was alive in 96. Yes, I was
Wow.
alive in 96. Number nine, M3gan
Yep.
2.0.
Yep.
This is marginally number nine because like it just made the cut because I more than likely know exactly where they're gonna go with the final reckoning, but
Yeah.
I'm very curious as to where they're gonna go with 2.0. Like I have no clue where they would go. Because
But
Megan is one of those movies that I don't think we need more of.
yeah.
One was fine.
I mean, I don't know. There's a huge hole in the subgenre of AI goes bad. There's just not enough of those movies lately.
I
We
know.
need more of them.
What's dumb to me about them is the fact that like, okay, you have AI that goes bad, then you defeat it, so the AI just jumps into the internet and then goes somewhere else. And I'm like, that is the cheapest out that you have. You spend an entire movie defeating the AI,
Mhm.
and then part of it, and then at the end of the movie realize that the internet exists, like, and it's just going to jump into the internet, and now you're going to deal with and it's dumb. It's
Mhm.
dumb. I don't like it. So I'm very curious as to where they would go with it. I'm going to keep it at number nine for right now. After the first trailer comes out and I learn a little bit more,
Yep.
I may immediately not be excited anymore. Number eight, Predator Borderlands or Badlands.
Okay.
I'm very excited about seeing this movie. I did put it at a number eight though, because it looks like what Predator in World War II. Like that seems crazy to
Really?
me. I think that it's a World War II Predator movie. I could be wrong. Number seven, Death of a Unicorn. Number six, The Toxic Avenger. Steve, I have been begging for years for this movie.
Okay.
The Toxic Avenger is genuinely one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. Like the original.
It looks bad.
It's so bad. And it's very 80s, which is like all of the bullies are classic bullies and all of it's bad. Okay? It's completely unnecessary. But then you're like, "Hey, let's add let's remake it and put uh uh Peter Dinklage in it. And I'm like, great. Then you're like,
Okay.
let's put Elijah Wood in it. And I'm like, oh, I'm in. Let's go. So they remade it. It's finally going to get launched this year. I don't know what took them so long. Anyway,
So your response to a horrible movie, the worst movie you've ever seen, is, "Hey, let's do it again."
yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering how to judge you.
My thought process is we have the technology to make it better.
Okay.
So let's do it. We have the ability to make it good, which is why like Jason X should have been really great because
Hmm.
enough time has passed since Jason Goes to Hell that we should have learned our lesson. We did not, and we launched Jason into space, and it was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And then, like, it was just bad for no reason. I don't understand what's going on. So we have the ability to reboot this in a good way with some good cast, good writing. Anyway, number
Okay.
five,
Yeah.
Wicked for Good. Okay, I'm excited about this movie.
Okay.
I love Wicked. I will not
Yeah.
apologize about it.
Yeah. No. No need.
Number four, The Fantastic Four: First Steps. I'm pumped about this movie.
Okay.
Number three, The Monkey.
Okay. Yes.
Number two,
Agreed.
Superman.
Oh, right.
It was shot in Cleveland, bro.
Was it?
That's what's up.
Are
Yes,
you in it?
Metropolis. I thought about being in it. I thought about going down there and being an extra. It would be amazing.
Oh, and you didn't? Oh, dude.
I missed out. Number one, this is where you and I differ. My number one most excited movie is Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Where you're like, I don't care about this movie at all. And I'm like, I'm loving, I will love it. Yeah. Anyway, that's it.
That's just funny.
Yeah. Well, that's our top movies. I'm sure in 2 months we'll just redo this list again because why not just recycle the bit, you know what I mean? Uh
Well, you know, update
let's
it once in a while.
let's move on, Steve.
Yeah, let's move along.
Let's go to our movies.
I'm gonna take it away, Zach. I was first last time, so you can go first this time.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, Steve, the movie that you gave to me,
Yeah.
that you gifted me,
Gifted. Yeah.
is the movie from the year of our Lord 2015.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Invitation. And its Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter score is not what I wrote down. It's 90%.
Wow, that's a
Certified fresh.
lot. Yeah. What?
Certified
Wow.
fresh. 69% tomato meter, though. Audience scores 69%. Um, IMDb 6.6, which is pretty high.
Yeah.
And Letterbox 3.3 out of 5, which is also rather high for Letterbox.
Yeah.
The synopsis I personally wrote for this movie. After 2 years of absence, a dinner party invitation turns into a rather eventful evening that no one saw coming.
Mm. That's very broad and vague enough. That's a good synopsis.
Now, the problem is that is the phrase no one saw coming because one person saw it coming and they're
Oh yeah.
gaslit the entire time.
Well, most often meaning or like no one saw it coming means most people didn't see it coming.
Right.
Right.
As far as a spoiler-free review of this movie, I
Okay.
wrote nothing down because I forgot we were doing spoiler-free reviews.
Why would you wing it?
Okay, I'm gonna wing it. A spoiler-free review of this movie. I thought the movie's pacing. Let's talk about all of that stuff, right?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought they used the proper lenses on the
Beautiful.
cameras.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I thought the movie was the movie's tone
Yeah.
matched its coloration. It's very dark.
Fantastic. Yeah. How's
As
the
far as
contrast and the saturation?
I thought that they could be tweaked just a little bit. Um, it was hard to look at sometimes.
Okay. It was very like a very like common palette the entire time.
Yes,
Lots of browns and reds and oranges and
yes, yes,
you feel
yes,
like
yes.
make you feel like it's all comfy.
100%.
And maybe it's not.
Um, it's it does give you a sense of comfort, but um, let's wait till the spoiler filled section to realize
Right.
why you shouldn't be comforted by this movie in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Um, uh, as far as the acting was concerned,
Uh-huh.
spot on.
Yeah.
Kudos to
Good
everybody
stuff.
who's in this movie. I know none of you as far as your names are concerned, but uh, this is what you get for winging it. And um, my as far as the pacing is concerned, because I've said this a couple of times,
Yep.
the pacing was very slow. It's not until an actual hour into this movie, like almost on the dot, hour into this movie, that the thing actually picks up and starts running.
Okay. It's lots of setup.
Um, so it's a lot of setup, it feels like. And there's a lot of moving parts, and you really don't know what's going on, which probably is good for some people.
Hmm.
But I did have to watch this movie in chunks because I got bored. My movie ADHD kicked in,
Okay.
and I had to watch this movie in chunks until I got to the hour mark. And then once it really started to pick up and we started to get some revelations and things like that,
Uh-huh.
I was in. But so the pacing was not, I want to say the pacing was not necessarily for me. Um but honestly, it was probably paced just fine. That's that's it for the spoiler free section. I would probably say that you should go see this movie. Um,
Okay.
but we'll get into some more. Let's get into the spoiler filled section because I want
Yeah.
to dive into some little intricacies that I can't get into without spoiling some things.
Sure. Let's move along.
Okay. I wrote down that this movie does a wonderful job weaving in and out of events from the past.
Yep.
Like revealing some truths very slowly and very intricately. Um, because there is a past that the main character Will is going through.
Uh-huh.
Some trauma that he has that is unresolved. So let's break this movie down. Will and uh uh Kiara,
Hmm.
Kara, what's her name?
I don't remember, to be honest.
Kira.
Kira.
Kara.
Kira.
Kira.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 I just literally just finished the movie like before we started. I can't even remember her name. Um, are I'm gonna say that they're recently divorced.
Okay.
I kind of get that sense from the car ride up to the house. Maybe it was explicitly said. I forgot to
At
write it down.
least seriously strained relationship one of these.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they get an invitation to come to a dinner party at Will's old house.
Hmm.
The invitation was sent by Will's ex-wife, Eden, and her new, at least love interest, if not husband, David. It's not entirely clear to me what Eden and David's relationship actually is. They don't ever tell you specifically. Um, it's pretty clear from the beginning that Will does not want to be there.
Hmm.
And honestly, I have no clue why Will would go. Will, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want to do. Why is this movie even here? What's happening? Like Will should have just been like, hey, Will, do you want to go to the... No, I don't. Okay, end of movie.
End of
It's
movie.
over. That's it. It's the shortest movie ever. Hey,
That's
Will,
good.
we got this invitation from your ex-wife. Oh, I haven't heard from him in 2 years. Will, do you want to go? No, I'm good. And then we're done. That's it.
Right, right.
Anyway, the evening starts off awkward because no one has seen Eden for 2 years.
Hmm.
We find out that Eden has been spending a lot of time in a cult in Mexico, learning how to deal with her pain and trauma.
Hmm.
It's unclear at the beginning why Eden and Will aren't together. This is where I'm talking about how they weave some of the past trauma throughout the movie. What you basically find out throughout the movie is that Will and Eden are not married anymore because their son died, and I think the marriage just kind of fractured.
Right. Very common,
Um,
unfortunately.
the old gang gets back together again, except for Choi, who is said to be the flakiest person in the group. There is, uh, there are also two unexpected guests that are there
Right.
as well. One of them is named Pruitt, and the other, I'm gonna have to find her name because I forgot it already, is what the heck is her name? Where is it? It's Sadie.
Sadie. Okay.
Sadie and Pruitt are friends only with Eden and David. There's a lot of characters in this movie. Hopefully, you can keep up with me. Um, Pruitt and Eden, no, Pruitt and see, I can't even keep up with me. Pruitt and Sadie uh, are from this commune.
Hmm.
They Eden and David met them at this commune. David begins the evening by showing a video to the group that Pruitt isn't so sure they'll like. And it turns out Pruitt is right. At the end of this video, a woman dies. And the group is a little freaked out because no one expects to see a woman die, or no one expects to see anybody die, because no, stop, Zach, read properly. No one expects to see a woman die because no one expects to see anybody die at any time. Okay? But David doesn't understand social cues anymore because he's cured of his trauma and is a robotic person who doesn't feel pain and is brainwashed by a commune where people die all the time. And since everybody dies, maybe I'll just show my friends. Like it's this what like I don't understand why David would be like, "Hell yeah, here's this slight promotional recruitment video that we made homemade, and then
Hmm.
at the end of this video we'll show this lady dying and we'll just be like, oh, she died of cancer, and why are you guys weird about this? Like, anyway, David, then things move on. David picks up on the fact that everybody's like, hey, well, okay, fine.
Hmm.
David then wants to play a game. It's called I Want. You basically throw off all social constructs and anything that would hold you back, judgments or whatever,
Hmm.
and say what you want. So,
Manifest it.
right? You say what you want. So, Sadie starts off the game and she goes, I want to tell everybody that I love them.
Whoa.
Pretty harmless, right? It's
Right.
pretty harmless. Then Gina, who's a part of the friend group, Gina
Mhm.
then goes, hey, I want some of David's old cocaine. And you're like, whoa, whoa, that's crazy. Then Pruitt tells about his wife, who was a painter and dies because Pruitt was drinking and killed her. He
Ouch.
tells them how he went to prison and paid for his time, but is still the same person, interestingly,
Hmm.
and then magically is cured by this cult.
Cool.
No one bats an eye. They fully move on. Eden says that she wants to kiss Ben. And then the game starts to get a little bit sexual because in these types of games, in these types of settings, it's a pretty quick jump
Yeah, they couldn't they
to
couldn't help themselves.
it's a pretty quick jump to sexual, right? Um, and that makes Claire a bit uncomfortable, and she decides to leave. But Pruitt is blocking her in and goes to move his car. At this moment, I knew Pruitt was going to kill Claire because Pruitt is a super creep. Okay.
Yeah.
Um. Um. Also, he said in his confessional that he was the same person that killed his wife. Like he said, I'm the same person. And
Right.
also, like, duh. So, but then he comes back inside and is like, I tried to convince Claire to come back in. And I'm like, you shot her in the face and then you moved her car and then you came back inside. And like,
Yeah. That's not very nice.
we don't know that for sure, but come on. At this time, Will is super suspicious about literally everyone. Why is everyone so cool with this arrangement? Why is David and Eden being so weird? Questions a normal trauma filled person would ask. But then he goes outside to make a call and he gets a voicemail from Choi, who says that he arrived early and wants Will to grab a dessert because he
Mhm.
forgot one. And now Will's suspicions are slowly starting to be confirmed. What the heck is going on?
Yep.
Will goes back inside and he literally brings up everything. He asks why everyone is so cool, or why everyone is so cool with how weird the night is going.
Hmm.
All because David brought out expensive wine. He asks why everyone is so cool with this cult. He asks why Eden has meds in her bedside table. He asks why Eden is trying to erase their son's death. Um, uh, and while all of this is going on, while all of this is going on,
Hmm.
um, who shows up? But Choi. So yeah, he comes in from getting the voicemail. He's like, "Oh, you guys freaking killed Choi, basically." And then Choi shows up, and David really doesn't know what to think, or not David. Will doesn't really know what to think. He's kind of, fading in and out of reality, whatever.
Hmm.
Cut to, they're all around the table in a drink the Kool-Aid kind of situation.
Hmm.
And what happens? Will snaps again. And he says, don't drink all of that. But Gina does. And Sadie then attacks Will. So here we're going to do some quick cuts here. Ready?
Okay.
So Will snaps, freaks out, is like, don't drink any of that, slaps the wine glasses out of everybody's hands. But Gina, well, she already downs her wine. David then shoots Miguel. Pruitt shoots Choi. Ben, Will, and Kira run. Eden slashes Tommy with a knife. All the doors are locked and the windows are barred. Sadie attacks Will. David stabs Ben and Pruitt shoots him.
There's a lot going on.
Yep. We then find out through a conversation between David and Eden that it was not supposed to go like this. They were all supposed to drink and fall asleep and go together, quote unquote,
Hmm.
go together. Um, and just like he said, so the he that they're referring to is the cult leader.
Hmm.
And uh, but this didn't happen. David then reassures Eden that we have to finish the job. Eden says that this is wrong, but I hate to break it to you, honky. The whole freaking thing's wrong. You just tried to drug and kill your friends.
Sure
Don't know
did.
why you're all of a sudden having a turn of conscious now, you hobo. Emphasis on the hoe. Come on, Eden, whatever. Turns out the only way to leave the pain, as far as this cult is concerned, behind is to kill your friends and die together like completely normal people.
Right.
Kira then kills Pruitt with several hits to the face with one of the $8 million bottles of wine. And that right there is the only true crime of this movie. It's not the pacing or anything like that. It's the fact that one of the bottles of wine costs $8 million. And there are several bottles in the house. And I don't understand that. Why is wine so expensive? I don't get it.
It's rotten grape juice.
It's just that's all it is. Okay. Anyway, Eden then shoots Will in the shoulder and then shoots herself in the stomach. But there's no more bullets now. Then out of nowhere, Tommy then comes back and attacks David. David then gets stabbed in the heart/lung and dies. Eden is still alive because she shot herself in the stomach, which apparently in movies is just a minor flesh wound. Much like the Monty Python Black Knight,
It's only a flesh wound.
Exactly. Let's see. She then calls to Will. Eden is laying there bleeding out and Eden calls to Will. And Will, who's an idiot, goes to her. Don't do that. Get Gina. No. Get Tommy and get Kira and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Leave that woman to die on the floor and get the heck out of here. No, he goes to her and she's like, oh, take me outside. And so they do. Will picks her up. Despite the fact that he got shot in the shoulder, he picks a full-grown woman up.
Mm-hmm.
No problem whatsoever.
Sounds like you're thinking a lot about this movie. You shouldn't be thinking so much.
I know. They take her outside at her request. She says, like, I wish we, and then dies, and we don't know what she wishes, which drives me freaking banana cuckoos. And there's a group hug, and we hear sirens. And the final shot of the movie is we realize that several houses nearby have also done this same ritual the same night. Because earlier in the movie, David goes out and he lights this red lantern, and Will's like, what the heck is going on here? And then that red lantern comes back in the end of the movie, and you realize the reason David did this is because everybody on this Los Angeles hillside is all a part of this commune, and they all participated in the same ritual with a bunch of different people. And there's helicopters, police helicopters, and ambulances, and all the other kind of stuff that's going over. And then the movie's over.
Right.
3 out of 5.
Okay.
Solidly average. This movie had, I thought, bad pacing, much like my review had bad pacing. This movie had bad pacing in the very beginning that honestly took this movie down for me. Because the movie's premise is not necessarily bad. The ending is this wacky, chaotic ending. It is satisfying to know that the breadcrumbs that the viewer thought all along were correct. But still, it's solidly average. I wouldn't say that it is a great movie. I don't even think that it's kind of worth another watch. Like this movie is fine, and it exists in the world for people to view at their leisure, and you should do so. And also, if your friend who you haven't talked to in a couple years invites you over to their house, maybe be cautious. Ask some questions. And if they say they went to some sort of other country retreat, whatever that country is, it doesn't matter. Don't go. Just leave. Just leave. Oh, but Zach, they locked the door behind me. Punch him in the throat and grab the key. Make a scene and get the heck out of there. I'm trying to save your
Because
life.
if they're not gonna if they don't want you if they're not gonna want to kill you, they want you to sign up for something.
They either want you to, yeah, they want your money. They want you to sign up for something. They do want to kill you. They want to touch you in the bing bong square. They want to do
Whoa.
something to you. Okay. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. They're going to, and if you're, how about this? Let's even reduce it down even further.
Okay.
If you're at a dinner party and somebody pulls out their laptop and goes, "Hey, here's a PowerPoint presentation," leave immediately. I don't care what that, and never speak to those people again. People who invite you over to show you a PowerPoint presentation are terrible people.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, they're terrible people.
Especially if they read off the slides. If they just show
Yeah.
the slide and read the slide.
I don't care if it's like, oh, we
People
went
better than that.
whitewater rafting and we want to show you some pictures. Shut
No,
up.
yeah. Yeah.
I
No.
don't care. I'm leaving. We're
Friends
done
don't
now.
do that to friends.
Friends don't. Yeah. I can see them on Facebook, Linda. Okay. That's it. We don't need to take up the dinner party with you showing me your slideshow to the Grand Canyon. I don't care. That may
Hasn't
be
changed in a
too,
couple of years, so
it hasn't, nothing, there's no new development.
no.
Okay. So, yes. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like I said, the pacing was just a little off for me. I got a little bored watching the very beginning, and it wasn't until a full hour into the movie that the movie really picks up, which I feel like they could have maybe done a little bit better with, but once it picks up, it is full steam ahead. So,
Yeah, it's been a
an
while.
hour to lay the foundation for the movie was a bit much.
I gave it a 4.5 stars.
Yeah.
I I had problems with it. Like looking, I think this was back when I was probably in a depression haze or something, and I'm like something about it clicked with me, and I'm like, that's a fantastic movie. I think
Yeah.
maybe need to take a little look at it. But I was really enjoyed how the tension, like the constant tension. Sometimes I really enjoy those like anxiety filled movies, and sometimes I don't. The more anxiety that builds in my life naturally, I want to watch those movies less.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I thought it was well done. I did. It was kind of dumb at the end when they showed like all the people around and like that's a lot of houses where people are just gonna go
Yeah.
kill themselves. You know?
Yeah. It was a lot of houses. It, I know what they were going for.
Right.
And I don't know, something about the ending did not entirely stick the landing for me, but I don't know. There was an X factor about all of that that
Do you think
I
it was?
can't entirely describe.
I haven't thought of this through myself, but do you think this is one of those movies that's like trying to make a point? It's like a metaphor for something.
I don't know what point it would make. Like, go to therapy, go see go see a therapist. Don't go to Mexico for therapy. Okay?
Okay.
Don't.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Here's the deal. Okay. Yeah. Here's what's crazy about all of this is like, so and Sadie versus David and Pruitt and Eden had a very different experience.
Mhm.
So David and Eden and Pruitt are like, hey, we went there to get rid of our trauma, right? To find
Right.
a better path of life, right? To let go of some things and move forward. Sadie's like, everybody was doing it. All the time, you just pointed to somebody and then you went off in the tent and you did it. And then you pointed to
Right.
the next person and then you went off and did it. And it was crazy to me that they had very different experiences um, with this commune. But my guess is that it's probably a mixture of both. It's probably like
Yeah.
It's probably a mixture of both. Anyway, I don't even know how you would get an invite to a commune in Mexico. That's a very, I don't want to know those people, but
Just walk around the
whatever.
airport, outside the airport, talking loudly about how you're kind of lonely and you had to leave your cult behind and look really hungry and say all this in Spanish, and then
Got it.
someone will go, "Would you like to be in another cult?"
I feel like you might also get roped into that feels very Squid Game-esque. Like
That's a good point.
that feels very like they're gonna hand you a business card at the end of this, and then you're gonna meet them, and then they're gonna put you in a van, and the mist is gonna come over you, and you're gonna be in a Squid Game.
Living down by the river.
Yeah, I don't like any of that. So, cults are bad people. That's all I'm
Yeah,
saying. Cults in Mexico, the Church of Christ,
that's awfully
all of
judge.
it. All the cults are bad.
It's awfully judgmental, man.
Name one good cult. Okay, Steve.
The cult of personality that follows you everywhere,
Well,
like that.
okay. That was something. Let's
Totally, like legitimate and heartfelt.
great.
Yeah.
I felt something, Steve, when you said that.
Do you need to talk to somebody about it, or
Well, I will.
okay?
Let's talk about your movie because I'm
Will
so
do.
excited that you watched this.
Well, Zach, I'm glad that you were excited that I watched this movie because I was not super excited that I watched this movie.
Yes, I understand.
And knowing the fact that you gave this movie a half a star, Zach,
It doesn't
I
deserve
thought
a
you were
half a
my
star.
friend.
Yeah,
And friends, like we give each other things that are fun and exciting and not like physically painful.
that's not accurate.
Oh, it's not?
No, well, I wanted you to enjoy this movie in all of its completely ridiculous glory.
Okay.
And you seemingly have,
Well, I have watched this movie.
then that is the assignment.
End of review.
I have. All right, we'll see you next week, guys.
Okay, so did you fill in the ratings here? Is this the actual ratings?
Those are the actual ratings. Yes.
Thank you for doing so. So I watched the movie The Exorcism, not to be confused with The Exorcist or The Exorcism of whatever, or The Exorcism in wherever, or the Pope's Enema, or any Man of the Million possession movies out there that are exactly the same movie as this one.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes gave this 27% tomato meter. That's the reviewers. 35% popcorn meter, which is too high. IMDb 4.2 out of 10. Letterboxd 1.8 out of 5. And Steve's review, Zach, you want to take a guess?
I'm gonna say that's probably a 0.
Well, I give it a 0.5 just because
Dude.
it's the bottom of the
Just because
barrel.
you have to
Right,
give it a
right.
0.5.
Bottom of the
Yeah.
barrel. Bottom of the barrel. It is a smoking hot, steaming pile of Pope poop, I guess.
Pope poop.
Pope poop. I mean,
Holy
does a
feces.
pope crap in the woods?
I
Of course.
didn't hear anything.
You don't hear it. The Holy Father, whatever, blah blah blah. Peace be upon him, or something. But that's the other one. Well, I better cut that out. I was going to get killed. Wait, is that racist? I better stop.
No, I don't know what's happening here.
The Pope, when he poops, it makes no sound and does not need wiped because it is a holy poop and it's glorious.
Wow.
Ask
We're learning a lot today.
those ex-Catholics out there. They know. They know.
I don't know how they know. I want to know. I want to know how they know.
Okay, so let's see. non-spoiler review time.
Yeah.
So this movie stars um, Russell Crowe
Correct.
and everybody else. I don't really know who they are. There's Niles from
Frasier. Yeah.
Frasier. He's in it.
Yeah.
And other people I didn't really. When you're not really interested in a movie, it's hard to look up names because that's hard. You know.
Because just because it's hard. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. Yeah.
So The Exorcism. This is my summary. The Exorcism from 2024
Yeah.
tells the story of Tony, a lapsed Catholic and has been actor, and his somewhat estranged 16-year-old daughter, Lee. Tony gets a part of a priest in what is essentially a reboot of The Exorcist after the original actor for the part mysteriously dies on set.
Mm.
Okay. Could be interesting, could maybe not be, but The Exorcism is a spooky movie about spooky things happening on set during the making of a spooky movie. That's a remake of a spooky movie where spooky things happen on set during the making of said spooky movie.
That might
The,
be the best synopsis for any movie, period.
the
Because
right,
I got lost in your spooky moviness. Like,
I drew this all out on a chart. The math works out. Trust me.
God, okay, okay.
Um, so as stated, not and did not enjoy it. The writing is boring. It's predictable and unoriginal. The cinematography was worse. It's it's like you make it darker so it's scarier. It's like no, it's to the point where you can't see the freaking movie. It's like not possible.
Yeah.
The acting felt like it was straining so hard against the poor direction that I'm surprised that the director either didn't break his back or get killed on the set himself by some mysterious thing happening.
Yeah.
Also, this movie is way too Catholic. I mean, I get
Mass
that
isn't even that Catholic, dude.
no. I mean, they even have mass in this. He like says the whole thing of mass. Anyway, no, that's not really a spoiler, but like this, every for so okay, Hollywood seems to think that the only like flavor of Christianity out there is Catholicism, because anytime anything happens, the lore is always Catholic lore. It's always the Catholic dude has to come in and say something in freaking Latin, and it just annoys me. And
Yeah.
I wasn't
So
really. I
you
wouldn't.
want more religious variety in your Christian. You want more, what would that be? Protestant movies.
It's kind of like no, I don't. So
No?
there's enough religion in these stupid movies. Okay.
Okay.
I want something else. It's kind of like, boy, I wish there was more sports on TV. That's not possible.
Yeah,
You know,
I understand.
it's like saying I want more religion in my horror movies. No, I would like.
You know,
I'm more interested in horror movies that are based on scary things in life or existential issues, whatever, that are not just so dependent upon the Judeo-Christian worldview of our religion is the only one that matters, and we're Catholic. I mean, there are
okay.
other Christians out there who care about being possessed. I guess Catholics are the only ones who one of the only ones who are like really into like they've got maybe it's because it's easy to write a Catholic possession
It's
movie.
low hanging fruit.
Yeah,
It's just low hanging fruit.
yeah. I mean, especially I blame The Exorcist, the original 1970 whatever version of The Exorcist. It was the first one that was like that I know of anyway. That was like super Catholic, and but now everybody feels like they have to do that. And there are lots of movies like from elsewhere in the world that have uh, possession stuff happening that is not Catholic related. But I digress. So
We'll fix it later, Steve.
right, we'll fix it. We'll fix it in post. Yeah. So all this leads to one of the unavoidable conclusion of this movie. Russell Crowe needs to stop making movies. That's what. That's the message of this movie.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't know how else to put it.
he needs to at least take a break and make us miss him if that's possible.
At least maybe something that's not exorcism related. I mean, dude.
He did two back to back.
Right. I mean, in fairness, he maybe did other movies in the middle and took a while to get it distributed or who knows what. But boy, not a movie that I would recommend at all. Just because it's done, it's been done so many times.
Well, this
And it
movie
was
is about
dumb.
the making of or the remaking of a movie that's already been done,
Right.
and it's like, hey, how would let's I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, what if the set was haunted? What if the making of this movie, and I think that that might be there might be some connection, some tie back to the actual Exorcism or the Exorcist movie,
Yeah.
where like the set was odd, there were some odd things kind of going on, but
Yeah. I mean, some
yeah,
weird
but also
things.
like you just recast. What's crazy to me is like, hey, we're gonna start this movie off. Have we entered spoiler review?
Not yet.
Okay, this movie starts off with something that we won't spoil.
Mhm.
That is a spoiler if we talked about it.
Right.
And they're like, no, we're just gonna keep on chugging down the road. Like, I don't know. Anyway, without
So,
actually telling you what specifically happened, none of that made any sense. So
right. So this movie, it kind of riffs on the fact that during the filming of the movie The Exorcist, um, it was reported that it kind of had there was a lot of weird things happening. There were people like a guy chopped his toe off who was like running a saw or something, and I guess people passed away afterwards. Um, People famously puked in the screenings of it, but I guess, and I didn't do a lot of research on this because couldn't be bothered. But the uh, there was a lot of creepy stuff that happened on the set of The Exorcist. Just full stop.
right,
Um, However, you know, it's one of those things that nobody ever sits down and goes, "How many accidents happened on the set of other movies?" And that aren't that are like, I don't know, Happy Gilmore or something. That's like
right,
not a scary movie, but it had, things happen on set. It just happens.
yeah.
But like, oh, it's a horror set. So anyway, so the fact that they're
It's a religious exorcism set, so we have to
right,
embellish a little bit more
or just
for
it's the confirmation bias. It's like I'm taking in the and only the information that confirms my biases.
yeah,
So
we're filming a movie that deals with quote unquote angels and demons, and so therefore anything that is good that happens is the angels, and anything that's bad that happens is the
right,
demons. And they're clearly the spirits are clearly trying to send us a message to either move forward or not move forward, and they're sabotaging this. And now we are going to go on a pro-Christian campaign to say that, well, uh God is for us, therefore I'm getting way too into the weeds. I'm just gonna shut myself off. There, I'm getting way too into the weeds with this.
well, long story short, the this yeah, we should just move on to the
Spoiler
spoiler
filled,
stuff.
yeah.
But yeah, don't watch this movie.
Zero. Don't watch it.
All right, moving on. I started taking notes as though I was going to do like a full on like breakdown, like here's the whole story. You don't have to watch the movie, sort of thing. And
Yeah.
I
How
started
far
that
did you
way.
get?
I
How far did you get?
think about halfway through, maybe. I don't know. I kind of lost track. Um,
That's
the
okay.
Because I got to the point where I just wanted the movie to be over, you know.
Yes. Uh-huh.
But it starts out with Russell Crowe. He's so it starts out with the first guy who's going to play this part of the priest in the Exorcist movie.
Mm-hmm.
He's running his lines on set by himself, and something happens. He dies mysteriously. Dies.
Yeah.
And then we kind of cut over to Russell Crowe playing Tony, who is kind of a has been. He got really messed up in drinking and drugs, possibly after his wife died a couple years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he's trying to get. He went through rehab and he's trying to get back on his feet and get back into acting. And so he was pretty famous guy beforehand. This is like the first role he's wanting to get after he has come out of rehab, and he gets the job pretty quickly, even though the director's a bit weird, bit odd fella. And he takes over the priest, and they're at the celebration party for them, for him booking the part, and he meets Niles Crane, the who plays Father Connor, and he is the religious consultant for the movie that they're making in the movie.
Right.
And then they go on to the screens once in a while, say like shooting day 1, shooting day 11, shooting day 15, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So day 1, everybody knows that some serious junk might go down because the first guy died, and there's other comments about like, oh, what's going to happen again? Is it haunted, whatever? And they like anytime something kind of bizarre happens on set, like the flights kind of flicker a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what's going on. But Tony is not doing well. He's not doing the lines well. He looks like he's constantly out of it. He's constantly forgetting things. He's late to set, or what, he doesn't show up or whatever. The director's getting tired of it, and come to find out that what's kind of really happening is that Tony seems to have become possessed, sort of on and off, by whatever entity was in that set. They keep calling it Moloch, but whatever.
Now I have a question for you
yeah.
here. Okay. I think this might be Russell Crowe. This movie might be a perfect reflection of Russell Crowe playing
Russell Crowe.
a Russell Crowe character.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think so. Yeah.
I think that he either went full method and became a bad actor, or he pulled from real life and now just is a bad actor.
Yeah,
Because
that's one reason I put in the cut. I didn't say that the acting was bad. I said that the acting strained against the direction so much, because I've seen he's not my favorite actor. Okay, Russell Crowe, but
right.
he's better than he was in this movie. But most of the time, a lot of the time, he's acting as he's portraying an actor who's not a great actor because he's distracted and stuff.
Right.
But anyway, we realize that he's kind of he's drinking again because he's trying to deal with this stress of this thing. His daughter's kind of a PA on set, production assistant, so just like a gopher, getting things for people.
Right.
And he keeps showing up in weird places, like he's in people's dressing rooms or their houses and just sitting there in the dark. And anyway, it gets bizarre. And then I at one point he's like, my name is not Tony. I'm like, yeah, okay, he's possessed. Whoa, no, he's possessed. What's gonna happen? And
yeah.
then so what it finally comes down to, Father Niles, what Connor, whatever.
Yeah, Father
Connor,
Niles is
Father
fine.
Niles, like it's like that's kind of the final battle situation.
Right.
And Father Niles says to the demon that's in Tony, he's like, take me, I'm not going to resist, I'll take it on. I'm like, what what why because
Why not?
if you're going to say I'll accept this demon, and I'm not going to resist you, what the heck? Because it's just going to go into that guy and he's going to become a killer instead of Tony. And I didn't understand why he was doing that. So he does that. The demon goes into the priest, the actual priest, and then Tony, the actor played by Russell Crowe, he ends up killing the priest with a crucifix through his forehead. It's like, what? I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
Well, here's the deal. Martyr being a martyr is
Oh,
always
right.
it's like the highest form of or it's like the highest expression of your religious uh understanding, your religious
Zeal.
ideas, your religious uh um your
Beliefs.
whatever. Yeah, beliefs exactly. Yeah. So becoming a martyr is the best thing that you possibly could do.
Is it kind of
Now,
like,
I don't know. I think that there's probably an in-movie thing where he just goes like, "Yeah, just take me because you have a daughter and save yourself, and this is the way that we'll do this." But you know, I want
yeah,
because I think that she goes to him, his like Russell Crowe's daughter goes to Niles and says, "Hey, how do we save my dad? This is how we're gonna save dad," and then Niles dies, but
yeah. I mean, maybe, but it just didn't make sense to me. And the whole thing, like I said, it was just forced and so pat and I don't know.
I fully
But
understand.
the reason I said that it was super Catholic is I don't remember. So like near the end of it, they're like casting out. They're trying to cast out the demon that's in the priest by now, and they're like calling on the saints to intercede for them and all this stuff. I'm like, come on. And then I read that Russell Crowe converted to Catholicism in 2007. Um,
Okay.
and one of the reasons I really agreed with what you said a second ago about how this seems like a Russell Crowe playing a Russell Crowe character, sort of, is that
Exactly.
I think that my guess is that Russell Crowe felt this is an important movie to make to show how you can come back to Catholicism. Because he by the end of it, he like totally, he's all in, right? Because all the Catholic chants and junk that he used before, they're suddenly working on this thing, and he begs God to take him back and all this stuff, and it felt it felt very it felt very unacted at that point. It felt very like Russell Crowe was just trying to be like as religious as possible. I don't know, kind of like the same reason
I
like that Mel Gibson made the Passion of the Christ or whatever it was, because he was
Yeah.
like super Catholic. It's like let's do a thing that God wants me to do, while
Right.
everybody else is like, just show me some naked women getting their heads chopped off or something.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
wholesome in a different way,
That makes sense.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not what we want.
No,
It's at least not what we want.
right?
Yeah. Have you seen the Pope's exorcism?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you
Wait,
lying
have
to
I?
me?
I think it is that the one
Here
where
we
they
go.
he goes to a castle. It's he doesn't deal with the Pope, does he? I'm trying to
He,
remember.
technically,
I'm trying to remember which one I saw.
it's Russell Crowe on a Vespa.
Right.
Have you seen this one?
Oh, yes, I have. I gave it 3 stars.
You gave that one 3 stars, but you gave
That
this
doesn't make any
one.
sense.
Yeah,
No,
bro. I
I'm gonna
don't know
back that
that.
off.
I don't think that you. I don't think we watched the same movie.
Uh-uh.
They're both really bad,
Yeah.
but that one came first because he plays like Father Amorth,
Right.
who is a real Catholic.
Right. Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
the
I remember talking about this on the podcast.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm backing that to 2 stars for sure. But see, I'm telling you, I tend to overrate videos right after the movies right after I watch it.
Yeah.
Need to be more measured. Anyway, didn't like this one. Don't like you anymore either. Just to be
Okay.
clear. Um, yeah.
Okay.
Any other comments about the Exorcism?
I have I have no comments.
Huh?
I
Do
yeah,
we need
I've
to like
zero comments.
call our senators about and our Congress people if about if Russell Crowe makes another Exorcism movie?
I think we should petition SAG to kick him out.
That's even
Be
going
done.
right to the heart. dude.
I think we should call Fran Drescher and say, hey, she's the president of
Right.
SAG,
As if, yeah,
and we
right.
should be like, hey, you you need to stop this. We don't know. Yeah. It's either that or we
Right.
need to call Samwise Gamgee because he's
Right.
also like a spokesperson, a
Right.
major spokesperson for SAG-AFTRA, right?
Right. Hmm.
And we need to have, give him the ring. The ring of power is, hey,
Right.
this is the mission. Russell Crowe should not be in any more movies, period,
Yeah.
but maybe we don't want to take all of the work away from Russell. We just
Right.
don't want him to be in any more uh Christian possession movies. No
Hmm.
more. Secular possession movies, that's a
Sure.
whole lane that has not been tackled, and you just call, Minister Bill from down the street and he just comes. That'd be hilarious actually. You just call some regular, you know,
I
just
want to
regular
see.
minister, and he's
I
like, I don't even know what to do. None of
I
this is in my wheelhouse at all. And then he just dies, and that'd be
I want
hilarious.
an exorcism movie where the first thing the person does so they see their family member is being possessed. They they post a TikTok about it, like, and immediately Dan McClellan stitches it and says,
Dan McClellan.
yeah,
Yeah.
the TikTok Bible scholar guy,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
stitches
yeah.
it and says, the person goes, my family member is possessed, and then you say Dan going, all right, let's see it, and
Yeah.
then the person says it, and he comes back, he's like, this is just like metaphor in the Bible. There's no actual like people being possessed by actual demons and stuff,
Yeah.
and then the movie's over.
And then the movie's over. He just logically explains it away.
Right,
Yeah.
he logically spins it away, and
Like
the
schizophrenia exists, you should go seek some actual medical help
right,
because this was more spiritual metaphor and not
exactly,
spiritual. It was never meant to be taken spiritually literal.
right,
So therefore, they have some sort of actual physical mental
correct.
disability, not some sort of spiritual thing.
Hmm.
And I mean, if you would like to test this, just smack them in the face and see what happens. See if they snap out of it.
Correct,
If they
correct,
do not snap out of it, it gets worse. Call 911, take them to the hospital. Love your family member enough
hundred
to
percent,
not call the priest and immediately. Stop being superstitious over stupid things.
right.
But also, you know, uh, your faith matters to some extent.
Well, I mean,
I was trying not to minimize it completely.
no. So if you explain it logically enough, the demon will just run away out of boredom.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah,
What
death
did
to
you
that
think of
movie.
Russell Crowe with the back thing? Or was that a different movie?
Oh,
Was that
that was
the Pope's
like he.
egg?
I forgot about that. He bent over backwards like when he was possessed and all cracked.
How
It
crazy was that?
was crazy.
It was laughable.
Yeah, it was so
It's not even
so over
remotely
the top.
because I'm like, time out. First things first. Your Oh, hey, the PlayStation Network is back online.
Thanks.
Live update. It's
Let's wrap
back
this up so I can
online.
go play my game.
Yeah. You got this massive belly. Okay.
Oh,
I know because of your massive belly, there is zero flexibility in you.
right.
That is a full judgment call.
All the
I'm
more
not.
amazing that he bent over backwards like that.
I am not talking about people with bellies. I'm talking about Russell Crowe.
Right.
The specifics of Russell Crowe. There's no way this guy can do this. Like it was so outlandish, and the CG was just bad,
It was bad.
and it was bad. But that's what I said. It was laughable. That also, why is contortion? We could dive deeper into this. Why is contortion
Because it unsettles
the?
people.
I understand, but like this is why I've said at almost the beginning of this podcast, we have to stop with possession movies. This is why they're on my no list.
Yeah.
Possession, it's the same crap every
Every
single
time.
time.
I don't want ever want to see another Catholic possession movie.
Now, having said that, I went to see Hard Eyes. I think this movie should win an award for the most cliches ever done in an hour and a half.
Really?
But it was so outlandish and over the top that it worked for what they were trying to do and made my movie watching experience better.
Nice.
Where in possession movies, I'm like, we have to stop. We should just stop with all of like these cliches are and tropes and whatever are they're bad. But you know,
Yep.
butts and seats.
Butts and
That's all that
seats, boots
matters.
and
They'll
pants.
they'll do that. So
All right, well, let's move on to pick movies for next time. Does that sound good?
let's rock.
All right. I am going to pick a movie for you that I dig. You dig?
Oh, really?
Yeah. It is on your watch list, so you can't complain.
Okay.
Um, Humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. This
I actually did really want to watch this movie. Yeah.
this movie is so good. I mean,
And what,
sorry, you. I'm completely neutral. You should watch this movie and tell me what you think.
when I just recently was I was bored and I wanted to watch a movie and I sorted my watch list by reviews.
Okay.
This is like nearing the top of my watch
Oh,
list.
good.
Um and just in general, not horror movies, just in general, all of the movies on my watch list, this movie's nearing the top.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, well, there's clearly something to this. People really are digging this movie. So yeah, we may as well watch it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm.
And now I have the ability to do that. That's great.
It's looks like you could get it on Mubi
Yeah,
for streaming, or then there's lots of other places you can rent it. All the rental
right.
places.
Good.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, Steve,
Hey, Ray.
I am going to go in a similar direction with you.
Okay.
This is a movie that I recently rewatched from uh, the year 2003.
Okay.
And it's also a movie on, to coin a phrase from a friend of mine, it's on your watch list, so you can't complain about it.
Uh,
The movie is Final Destination 2.
oh no, it's on my list. No, actually, I was kind of wanting to see that. Everybody goes on about the Final Destination movies, so
I recently picked this one up because I saw Final Destination a long time ago, and I
right.
saw Final Destination 2 a long time ago, and I recently rewatched 2, and you know, because you're driving behind a truck, right?
Right.
You're driving behind a truck that's hauling logs. And Final Destination 2 is the movie that ruined all of that for us.
Um,
Nobody wants to drive behind a log truck anymore because of Final Destination 2. And I thought to myself, how bad is it? Like, I wonder, I want to take myself back in time, you know, to when I kind of first saw this. I'll be honest with you, it's still slightly scary.
yeah. I mean, because before this movie, everybody like loved driving behind log
It,
trucks.
it was all everyone was talking about. They're
Right.
like, hey, have you ever driven behind a log truck before? It is a thrilling experience. And then this movie came out, and everybody was like, hey, don't ever do this again. People were calling their relatives, their loved ones. They're like, hey, I'm concerned for you.
Ah, boy.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you should watch that one. I'll watch the. My guess is that both of us, it'll probably flip. I'll probably have a bad experience watching my movie, and you'll have a great time watching yours. That's my prediction for next
The
week. What do you
only
think?
thing, well, I don't know, because the only thing that could make your movie not good is if you don't like reading French, because it's a French movie. You got to read the French. pay attention to the movie, and I know the ADHD movie thing.
I'll just turn on the English dub.
Okay.
I said that so that you'd get upset, but then you didn't get upset. So
see, I'm breathing through it.
Okay. You're becoming a better person and transcending it. I get it. It's fine.
No, I'm just confused about why you still want to watch the dub. The dub doesn't exist on this, buddy.
I know that. That's why I said it. Yeah.
See, you think you can get me, but you done get got.
Yeah, I done got. You're right, Steve. All right, man. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Heck yeah, I will. You too.
For you out there in TV land, see you next time.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Same bad time, same bad channel.
Bye.
See ya. All right, listeners, that's a wrap for another episode of Horrors Yet Unseen. Thanks for joining us.
And we'd love for you to become part of the conversation. Just drop us a voicemail at 1-216-202-5495 or email us at horrorsyetonunseen@gmail.com. And keep up with the latest by following us on Instagram. That handle is @horrorsyetonunseenpod. We'd also appreciate it if you like and review our show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Your support means a lot to us. See you next time.